It's hard to believe, but we have secured Edinburgh in less than 2 episodes of this campaign. A baby brother or sister for Donald is on the way, and now we have a slight Scandinavian issue to deal with. Hello, Legion. This is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Crusader Kings III in our Empire of Albion series. So I do want to sort of turn my attention towards Jarl Ivar the Boneless here, or Ivar the Boneless, if you will. But before I do that, one thing I haven't done at this point, either for myself or for you, is really introduce everyone to the vassals. So we need to do that. So first of all, let me check our current situation and see if there's anything that we can do. It does appear that we need to improve control, which makes sense in Edinburgh. We just captured Edinburgh. Let's go ahead and switch away from training commanders with our marshal to increasing control. Now this will take, how long exactly? 9 years. But it's in order to get control all the way up to 100. So, I mean, any control at all just to help us maintain stability in Edinburgh is going to be important, because this is our only castle, really. This is an actual castle holding. Not even our capital in St. Johnston is a castle. It's just a tribe holding. This is a castle holding that we've captured. So it's a big deal that we have this out of the way. But for those of you kind of looking at my thumbnails and thinking, okay, there are those 2 objectives that you have on every thumbnail, Hadrian. What are you doing with those? So I'm not going to check off Scotland ruled until we are not only the King of Scotland, not Alba, but what I'm going to shoot for is Scottish culture. And that's why we needed to have some territory down here. The reason for that is that when you look at the culture map, Anglo-Saxon culture is right here. And we're going to need to convert to that relatively soon, since we've taken that. But by being Anglo-Saxon, one of the things that happens in this general area in the first couple of centuries of the game, maybe even first decades of the game. I don't know exactly when it happens, because this is one of the things I haven't done in CK3. I did it in CK2, but not in CK3. It works a little bit differently here. But at some point, the Scottish culture event is going to arise. At least that's what I think. Again, this is kind of a blind playthrough, so I haven't done it before. No worries about telling me what I should or shouldn't do to achieve it. I'm just kind of telling you what I'm doing to angle myself toward that. And that's what I'm going to do in order to check that box off. And then, of course, we want to establish ourselves as Emperor of Greater Albion. But for now, let's take a look at something else very important. We have vassals. Some of my vassals are not particularly happy with me. And one issue at the moment is that we're not the rightful liege of a number of vassals. So when you look at Melmuri, who is, I think this is my chancellor, right? And this is the one that I kind of had problems with last episode. When you look at this, there is a opinion penalty due to the fact that I'm not his rightful liege. Now I can fix that relatively quickly by establishing... Oh, I didn't realize I had Petty King Ayla in my... I have the King of Northumbria in my dungeons, by the way. Didn't see that. Okay, we'll deal with that in a second. Yeah, we actually have a whole bunch of things. It looks like Pope Nicholas would grant a claim on the Petty Kingdom of Northumbria. That's interesting. Let me not get carried away. We're going to look at that again in a second. So, Melmuri. He currently has a somewhat negative opinion. As soon as I can become his rightful liege, which can be done using 125 gold. So I need the gold. I've got the prestige for it, but I need... Well, prestige, there's not a cost. I would actually gain prestige. So it's just the gold that I need. I see the 300 and I immediately assume cost, but that's actually a gift. It's giving it to me. As soon as I create the Duchy of Albany, then what that would allow me to do is remove all of these penalties from various vassals. So anyway, where are these people? We need to get to know these characters if we're really going to keep track of the story. Mormaer Melmuri is here, and he governs these 2 counties. Then we have Comgall, who's our marshal, governs Strathern and Linlithgoshire. And then Mormaer Comgall... Oh, hang on. No. And then, of course, Aid McKinney. Now, this is the heavy hitter, and he's the only other duke. So he's a high chief, but that is a duke-level title. So that's the equivalent in our culture of being a duke. And he's up here, governing the entire northern realm. This is our brother, player, heir, brother, and spy master. Currently, he's the one with most votes. We can hopefully, as Donald gets older, make Donald have more sway over things, because that would be kind of cool to have our kid in charge. It looks like we have a slight issue here with this vassal. I'll have to check on that in just a moment. But then, of course, we have Dristan, who lords over Fife, and his opinion to me is quite good. And finally, we have Reeve Seward of Galashiels. Wait, hang on, where are you? Exactly, sir. Oh no, okay, that is here. That makes sense. Sorry. So there's a holding down here. I just conquered him. No wonder he doesn't like me. That makes more sense. I was wondering where that was coming from. But yeah, he's a direct vassal that we've just sort of asserted ourselves over. And now we have to deal with his negative opinion. But that will kind of abate with time. And I may even be able, in order to get things moving, I might be able to send us some gold. At the moment I can't because I don't have enough. I've only got 6 gold. But I'll keep an eye on that. Anyway, those are my vassals that are currently directly loyal to me. And then, of course, there's the council that we met in episode 1. One thing I can go ahead and do is pass limited tribal authority. I'm not going to do that just yet, because whenever you raise tribal authority... By the way, raising this all the way to 4 is one of the things we're going to need to do in order to become feudal. That's another thing that I want to do for the Kingdom of Scotland objective. Not just have the Scottish culture, but be feudal as opposed to tribal. So there's more. It's kind of a loaded check mark, if you will. There's more to that than meets the eye. Let's go ahead and look through our current situation one line at a time. So we can get a pressed claim. So these are considered legally strong and are inherited as unpressed claims by the children of the claimant. So this is a big deal. This is a claim that would be multi-generational. If I didn't achieve this particular claim, then Donald would achieve it. So, assuming Donald is the one that gets the throne. If he's not, then Aid would get it. Because the heir would receive the claim from me if I died. So it's going to cost most of my piety. And the petty king will not like it. But I'm going to go ahead and request this claim. I think that makes sense to do that. We can create an accolade as well. I believe it might be a good time to do that. So you're not currently a knight, oddly enough. Why aren't you? Let's see why that is. He's allowed, but he's not. Okay. He's a treacherous atheist. It's very rare that you see, especially a character with this much prowess on the champions page that's not actually a knight at the moment. It's possible that he's... There we go. Just had to let a day tick by. Greetings, King Constantine of Alba. I have pondered your request and have decided to recognize your claim on the petty kingdom of Northumbria. There has come to light irrefutable proof that your ancestors did indeed rule the land in ancient times. I will prove myself a worthy ruler. So, we spent a lot of piety to do that. That doesn't, by the way, remove our progress. This is a very important tip for newer players. This doesn't remove our progress towards the next level of faithfulness, or in this case, it's not, it's devotion. So level of devotion currently is dutiful. We're moving towards faithful, and we need to build up piety in order to reach that particular threshold, in the same way that we build up levels of fame using prestige. But when you spend piety or prestige for any reason that the game gives you to spend it, it doesn't reduce that bar. It just reduces the amount that you have. So notice that there's prestige and level of fame kind of displayed separately as opposed to in the same place. That's why. Because one gets reduced when you spend prestige, the other does not. One gets reduced when you spend piety, the other does not. Same with renown. So, okay. Having done that, we have a few other things. There's this accolade, and I definitely like the idea of using Onander. First among raiders. That's one name. So this would be kind of a celebratory... I like the idea of using an accolade to celebrate the capture of Edinburgh. So what would this be called? Let's just go with the Knights of Edinburgh. Nice and straightforward. We're going to switch these. So the primary attribute of this accolade will be Valiant, which will improve army damage. The secondary attribute will be Thug, which means for the amount of tyranny that I have that's based on tyrannical actions that I take, I'm not planning to be too tyrannical as, you know, Constantine I, because he's arbitrary. He's not tyrannical. His character is not necessarily going to be too mean. We might decide to go that route, but right now I'm not feeling it from a roleplay standpoint. So, alright, so I noticed that it did change the name there. So let's say Knights of Edinburgh. Okay, and we're going to create this accolade. And as this particular accolade, as that group of knights fights, as that group of warriors fights, they will get more and more powerful and offer better bonuses. The accolades, to be honest, it's a system that I know less about because it's newer in CK3 terms. So that's one that I'm still picking up on for sure. All right, so we can ransom Petty King Ayla. I'm going to wait until he can afford more of that. Now, we need to appoint a worthy successor for that accolade. I don't know that there is a worthy successor at the moment, so we'll probably just hold off on that. Okay, so having met the vassals, we can let a little bit of time pass, but here's the thing. I do need to let my armies recover. You can tell from just how full these meters are that I'm not particularly stocked in terms of men. However, Jarl Ivar still does not have any allies. So we want to declare war on him as soon as possible. We're going to let some time pass here. We've unpaused. It's 869 AD. I could go ahead and convert to local culture. I'm going to wait until people's opinion of me is a little bit higher, but I don't want to convert the county culture here away from Anglo-Saxon. That would be counterproductive. Absolutely. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. The main thing I'm watching is how quickly this bar kind of fills back up. Levies too. Levies are important. Also, as soon as I have the money, I will definitely be creating that duchy that I mentioned earlier. Invitation to Murmur Comgal's feast. Ah, event popped. Hang on. We'll get to this in a moment. During one of our lessons in my son Donald's chambers, I noticed a collection of rocks neatly displayed on a shelf. One of the stones stand out in the collection. It is quite rough, but upon closer inspection, there's a deeply red, brilliant hue contained within. He notices my interest, picks it up, and hands it over. You can have it, father. Oh, thank you. Okay, so we actually are going to get the modest gemstone trinket, which will improve learning. Nice. Our learning stat will improve by 1, and we'll get additional prestige per month. That's not a small amount. That's a 10% increase, roughly, in prestige per month, just because our kid found a rock. That's actually pretty nice. Oh, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and select that trinket so that we get those bonuses. Now, let's unpause. Did I just miss that invitation? I think I just missed that invitation. Yeah, I just missed that invitation because too much time passed. Wow, that was quick. That went away fast. That event, granted, I had it paused while I was reading that, but I was expecting it to still be on the screen when I unpaused, but no, that went away fast. All right, well, we're not going to that feast. One thing in the current version of the game that maybe was less the case in the original launch version is that when you launch these events, they're relatively expensive. They cost a lot of gold. And it might just be because I'm used to playing in larger empires, and so I've forgotten, we've got to build up to a point where we can do this. But you have to have a decent amount in your treasury before you can do some of these, especially the grand activities that have been added in the most recent expansion. My daughter. Praise St. Brigid, Ermentrude has given birth to a perfect little daughter. Who you become, my child, and what shall I call you? Let's go with a good Catholic name. Caitlin. Sophia. Sophia is fine. May you grow to be strong and wise, my daughter. Okay. So right away, let's see what we can do in terms of arranging additional alliances at all. It doesn't look like there are actually any possibilities here. Although, hold on. That's not the right. Yeah, I need to select fines. Oh no! Oh no, never mind. Hold on. Yeah, let's not secure any alliances just yet. All babies cry, but with little Sophia, there's no end to the tears. I desperately want the midwife to ease my worries, but her furrowed brow makes everything worse. The little lady is not gaining weight as she should. We will take good care of her, my lord, but in the end, her life is in God's hands. Hush now, Sophia, please don't cry. Okay, we're going to make sure she gets better. Hopefully she does. And meanwhile, I'm going to keep an eye on my troops. I am rebuilding my armies. Looks like the levies are sort of replenishing as well. Of course, Jarl Ivar is rebuilding his armies as well, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. Petty King Ayla is slowly but surely... Oh, they're still at war, interestingly enough. Ha! That is going to be an opportunity. Mismanaged population. Gowrie gained mismanaged population for 5 years. So because our steward is not very good... Oh wow, popular opinion in our capital county just dropped dramatically. Hey, could you, like, suck less, please? That would be ideal, sir. I'd appreciate it. What's our chancellor doing at the moment? Domestic affairs? So I could run domestic affairs with our chancellor, and that would improve direct vassal opinion, but I think I'd rather gain the additional prestige per month that I'm getting from foreign affairs. Alright, so the petty king can afford half of his ransom. Alright, Sophia's taking her first steps. I hear a commotion from my daughter Sophia's chambers. Hastening inside, I see the wet nurse, Lesser Fiona, is playing with Sophia. My liege, perfect timing. Sophia just took her first step. She shouts excitedly, holding my girl's hand. She tries to walk her around the room. A giant step for a child, a small step for a ruler. What else can she do? It's so mean. It would improve her prowess, but right now we just want to make sure she's healthy. Let's take a look at that, actually. Yeah, she's still sickly. Severe health penalty. So her health is poor. Alright, so I'm noticing that the Petty King's ability to pay this ransom is actually dropping. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is ransom it before it drops. Ransom him before it drops further. Let's go ahead and do that. As much as I would love to get that 100 gold, it would take a while for it to build all the way up, and they're at war, so it's more likely to drop than it is to climb. A sacred text. As I'm out for a stroll around the market, a merchant calls me over insisting she has something that will pique my interest. The scent of drying herbs and foreign tinctures overwhelms my senses as I approach the stall. She is rifling through her collection of dusty tomes and other treasures. After some digging, the merchant produces an old book and insists I need it for what is to come, air quotes. Fine, I'll bite. Okay, so we can try to negotiate. Spend some prestige and gold if we lose, but spend a lot less gold if we win. And this is a book artifact. I don't know. I can just literally... I can take it from her and gain 13 dread and 10 stress. I'm kind of tempted to do that, I'm not going to lie. He is arbitrary. It would be stressful for him, but he can handle the stress though. I'm going to take it. I take what I need. You have become the owner of the Anglo-Saxon Golden Legend. Nice. A sacred text, bibliomancy. As I'm putting away my newly acquired Anglo-Saxon Golden Legend, a slip of parchment falls out. Upon it are instructions for a practice called bibliomancy, where one might divine their fortune from a passage in a book. All I need to do is open this text to a random spot and read the first fateful verse my eyes might fall upon. Okay, so I can say the temptation is overwhelming and possibly get a learning lifestyle perk, or I can say I'll have nothing to do with this unholy practice, which is a loyal decision to make if you want to look good in the eyes of the church. So I'll gain 50 piety, but I'll gain 5 stress because the diligent side of me wants to learn. I'm going to say the temptation is overwhelming. I follow the instructions to the letter and select a passage at random from the text before me. Shivering with anticipation, I open my eyes and read. Fear is the mind killer. A coward dies 1,000 tiny deaths, yet a valiant man dies but once. What am I to make of this? Ooh, interesting. Look at this. Fascinating. This requires further research. There's a 74% chance. 3 out of 4. You gain 100 learning lifestyle experience. You gain focused reading for 3 years, which is a learning stat boost. And you get 75 prestige. Otherwise, I would have increased stress gain, reduced learning for 2 years, and gain less learning lifestyle experience. I'm going to go ahead and say fascinating. Nice. Did it. All right, let's pause for just a moment. We have some activities available, but we don't have the money to invest in those at the moment. So it looks like the ransom was paid. Let's see what we have here. The Anglo-Saxon Golden Legend. So this is going to improve my monthly piety by 4%. It's not extraordinary. But it's also not nothing. So that's going to be like another 0.1 or so. Prestige is, it's going to be like barely another 0.1 in fact. And then prestige is 0.1 per month. Monthly learning, lifestyle experience, and zealot vassal opinion +1. So if I have zealots, yeah. See, it went up by like 0.1 per month. That's it. Okay, so I kind of want to go ahead and declare this war while I still... Oh, he's got an ally now. Damn it. Okay, now, yeah, I do definitely want to declare this while I can. Especially if he has an ally. It might be worthwhile. Let's see if we can go ahead and secure an alliance and start a war. Sorry to use you as a pawn like this, Sophia, but we're gonna have to move things along here. So, alliance power. We are currently, yeah, see, King Louis, the Stammerer of West Francia. So this is the successor of King, was it King Charles was his dad? Yeah, King Charles the Bald of West Francia passed away in a battle. So we could literally... That's interesting. What happened to... Did you divorce your wife? So King Louis actually doesn't have... That's interesting. That's very interesting. King Louis is 27, so it would be a while. He'd be almost 40 by the time Sophia was of age. But we could secure an alliance with him, and then possibly their kids, which would be part of my dynasty, even if they were... Well, they'd be part of my family, not part of my dynasty. Yeah. Just to kind of show you what this means. Yeah. Children born in this marriage will be of King Louis II's dynasty, not mine. They'll be part of my family, not my dynasty. Unless we make it a matrilineal marriage, which of course he won't accept because he's the king. Alright, Lotharingia we're not going to go for. Italy. This is a much more age-appropriate marriage. This prince is 1. So it'll be a while before either of them are of age. Ooh, the Kingdom of Brittany, which would not be bad. Brittany is, of course, right here. So, very accessible ally. I don't know, though. It's a lot more troops to arrange this with King Louis. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. There's a congenital trait here, because he's a stutterer, so that there's a possibility that any of their kids would also have that trait. But again, this is not... This marriage is for the sake of an alliance. We're going to go ahead and send that proposal. And if he accepts, I'm going to declare war and call everyone as fast as I can. Another thing I'm going to go ahead and do... Oh, wow. I don't have enough to actually... Yeah, let's try and sway him. He might not accept a call to war, just like his dad wouldn't. And I'm guessing it's for the same reason? Yeah. Forced my relative into a blasphemous union. And there's a cultural acceptance penalty. So, I don't know. This may or may not work out, but we're going to try it. A sacred text, nothing to fear. I have finally cracked the mysterious passage from Anglo-Saxon Golden Legend and feel much wiser for it. Thanks to that merchant, the threads of fate suddenly appear more clearly to me. Fear may well be the mind killer, but I have faced my fear. So we have just gained another perk for the learning lifestyle. Several options here. I think... I'm going to go ahead and say anatomical studies. I don't normally go for this one that quickly, but this apparently buffs the court physician and any treatments that they perform, which, given that we have a sickly daughter at the moment, that could come in handy. So fingers crossed that that is helpful. Might not be, but I'll take what I can get. All right. We do need to convert to the local culture in Edinburgh once I move the capital. I haven't moved the capital yet. But for now, we're still waiting for the acceptance on that, I believe. Let's double check. Yep. There it is. Alliance formed. All right, so It's only a little bit creepy. Okay, no, it's a lot creepy. He's 27, and he just got betrothed to a child. But that's going to be a while before she comes of age. So, let's take this opportunity. Yeah, this is... We're going to have to call all of our allies. And not all of our allies might come to our aid, which is problematic. Let's see if that improved his opinion of me at all. It really didn't. It really didn't. It did not. Even a little bit. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to go ahead and pull this trigger. We're going to press our claim for the Suthrayar. It's going to cost some prestige. Let's declare. Now we're going to call some dynasty members. First of all, we need to do... We're going to go with the largest dynasty members first. Alright, I'm not going to call any more because we don't have enough renown to do that. It does look like... Wow! Both of my allies will join. So this is expensive. It's 350 to call a king to war. So I just spent 700 prestige, half of my prestige to make this happen. But that's a huge deal because now my allies will show up and help hold this down. So let's see how this goes. So it looks like Jarl Halfdan did join the war, so we are going to have some problems with him, but we might not have as many troops with Jarl Ivar's troops. All right, so they are on the way, both of them. Okay, and we have our dynasty allies as well on the way. Knights of Edinburgh need a worthy successor. Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. For now, we need to conquer the Suthrayar, and we're waiting. So you can see some of our dynasty members on the way, marked here. They're over in Ireland. Ooh, interesting. This army's on its way back to fight me. And it just got intercepted. Nice. Sophia's first words. Hurry, my liege. You have to hear this. The wet nurse, Lesser Fiona, rushes me into my daughter's chambers. Lesser Fiona points at Sophia in excitement, so I lean toward her and listen. Gobana champion. Looks like Sophia's already has a martial spirit. So we can say, how delightful. Gain some prestige. And she gains opinion of me. Interesting. So she's a fighter. That's kind of cool. Given that she's born sickly, she's a fighter. I like this story already. How delightful. Ooh. How did he die? Fatal apoplexy. Okay. Okay. Problematic chancellor's dead. Now we can appoint a new chancellor who's much better. Aelpin, our champion, actually, is a much better chancellor. Let's do it. Oh my god, that's a huge improvement. That's literally double the bonuses. So basically, by having double the bonuses in diplomacy, because he has such a better diplomacy stat than the previous chancellor, all of his actions take less time to complete and are more efficient in general. Okay, not liking what I'm seeing here. We need the reinforcements to show up as soon as possible. It looks like they're going to be there in time, but this could get problematic. So yeah, this army's actually heading into Gowrie. As soon as our... Yeah, here come the main reinforcements. Once they get here, we should be in a little bit better shape. This is, of course, the capital of the Suthrayar. So if we're lucky, by taking this particular territory, we can end the entire war, because we might capture someone that the Jarl really, really values. Not to be too dastardly about it, but that's how it works. Wars can be won if you capture the right person, especially if you capture the ruler. Which, that's, by the way, that's why we were able to capture or end the war when we did. I didn't realize it, but the reason we were able to just end the war for Edinburgh is that in the last battle that we fought, we actually captured the king. Right, so a couple of cities are under siege. That's not good, but our capital is not under siege, so we'll see how this goes. We need to finish this and then try and fight them off over here. Our reinforcements have arrived and they're helping out. The Christian play in St. Johnston. It has been brought to my attention that Ramhild, a renowned Christian playwright, intends to hold a performance of her work titled Satan's Inferno. The price of admission is steep, but this is likely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to witness a Ramhild play with my own eyes. A pious night at the theater it is. I might gain a learning lifestyle experience. Or it might gain learning lifestyle experience. Not a perk, but just experience. I'll take it. Beelzebub's Inferno. As I watch the play unfold before me, it quickly becomes clear why Ramhild is so well known as a literary genius. The prose, the performance, all of it makes me feel as though I am witnessing the events of the scriptures unfold in front of me, as if I were there to behold God's work myself. Once the play is drawn to a close, I find myself alone with Ramhild. You must teach me to interpret the scriptures as you do. You can say, I can write better than this. Wow. Learning challenge against... Actually, her learning is not that good. Mine's great. And this would reduce my stress because I'm arrogant. So because it's in line with his personality, yeah, I'm just going to say, I could write better than this. I could do what you do. That is hilarious. All right. Unworthy peasants. While I was in the castle town with Donald, his attention was caught by a criminal chained in the pillory. Donald lifted his head and made a show of ignoring the criminals begging for water. Okay, so we can influence the kid's development here. So if we let him keep arrogant, he's just gained arrogant because we're raising him, so we're kind of passing on our qualities to Donald. But we could say, well, what if we want you to be compassionate instead? No child, bring the poor man the water he asked for. Let's say that. It is stressful because it's not in line with my character. A Christian play of my own. It has been quite some time since I originally vowed to outdo the inferior work of Ramhild, and as the ink of my scribes grows dry, I admire my own work. The Passion of God is a work deserving of being called a masterpiece by my own humble reckoning. The only question that remains is who should play the lead role. Myself in disguise, of course. So this would be a diplomacy challenge against Ramhild. All right, so we have two options. One that would help me lose stress if I selected it, and this actually has the higher chance of success because both of these are diplomacy challenges. So this actor that's being randomly selected by the event doesn't have a very good diplomacy score. I have a slightly better diplomacy score. Myself in disguise, of course. Let's see how that goes. Interesting little side plot while we're taking care of this. Dramatic debut. I take a breath and prepare to perform my play, assured that it will be impeccable with me here to deliver its pious message. I take a deep breath and recite my lines flawlessly, the audience surrounding me falling captive to my words. I enlighten them with my masterful interpretation of the tales from the scripture. As the crowd erupts into applause, I am assured that I outdid myself and showed Ramhild how a real Catholic writes a play. What a great night for Catholics everywhere. You gain 1 learning lifestyle unlock. Nice. So I could reduce stress gain immediately by selecting Carefree. I think I'm going to do that. If we have that now, that'll help ensure that we have a nice, long, low-stress reign. All right, so it looks like we have a vassal expecting the council position. But he's not that great. So I don't know. I mean, he's a powerful vassal, so I get it. But, like, I don't know why he would expect me to give him a seat on the council. You're not that awesome. All right. So we have conquered the capital. We need to go fight off these raiders using our allies. We're not going to get to them in time, but we'll see if we can at least defeat them in battle. So they're probably going to succeed in these raids. Looks like Donald just took over as heir, so he's winning votes as he gets older. Okay, they did manage to take that town. A clash of culture and faith. A missive from Pope Nicholas has arrived. It starts off with pleasantries and outlines the importance that I hold in the eyes of the Gaelic people. Your practice of concubinage is not supported by Catholic doctrine. Only through proper marriage will God smile upon your people. Man, it's only the 3rd episode. You are not letting me have any fun, Pope Nicholas. I only wish for your salvation. Set aside your concubines for the good of us all, the missive reads. A dilemma indeed. Which do I value more, the customs of my people or the doctrines of our faith? We must uphold Catholic doctrine. I will gain a level of devotion for doing this, just outright. It's going to jump me straight to faithful. But we will lose any cultural traditions that conflict with the doctrines of Catholicism. We must uphold Catholic doctrine. Yeah, so it didn't give me a full level, it just took me up to the next level. Oh, interesting. We didn't intercept that army, because because they were moving in a different direction at the same time. I'd rather intercept that army if I can. Let's see if we can get them. Nice. We managed to separate their army. That is ideal. There were two armies traveling together. One happened to go to the next territory over. That's honestly kind of perfect. Yeah. Yep. This one's dallying, so this is going to end quite well at this point. Now we just need to recapture Strathairn. Excellent. All right, well, we're 36 minutes into the episode, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this one here. In the next one, I was kind of hoping to end it in one episode because we're damn close. But in the next one, we're probably going to resolve this conflict pretty quickly. We did also capture, looks like, Savary, the knight of Captain Clotaire of Routiers. That is a long accolade name, for the record. But we're going to try and take care of this war next episode, and then we can maybe look into... Oh, interesting. Look who's taken over all of Northumbria. Oh, Jarl Halfdan has. That's less than ideal. But we do have a claim on that territory, regardless of who controls it. So we will now have a claim to go to war with him, thanks to what we got at the beginning of the episode, which worked out pretty well in our favor now that I'm looking at the map from the top down and a little bit farther up in the sky. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. If you're not new here, look for the join button to get access to channel unique emotes, badges, and other perks. New episodes drop every day but Tuesday, except for tomorrow, because we just had a premiere. So, you know, we'll do 7 episodes this week at 11 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome, so leave your thoughts below, and I'll see you next time.